Hey everybody, it is quantum panel time, and it is me and Lynn are
I
leading the charge. Hey Lynn.
leading the charge. Oh boy, that sounds familiar.
Yeah. Well, how are you?
I'm doing a lot better. I feel better. Been applying my own techniques,
Mm-hmm.
getting
Yep.
better.
I'm glad. I'm glad to hear it. I know we
I'm
were
glad to
all,
see
hey,
you're
it's just,
feeling better.
oh man, all the weird stuff has stopped, and I'm glad.
Oh yeah,
Oh man. And those
there's a lot
lingering
to quantum
symptoms,
healing.
yeah, I've been applying them, and
Good.
it's basically, for me, meditation. For
I
me, it's
it's a
meditation.
lot of that. It's a lot of that. Yes, meditation. A lot of times we get so busy that we forget to connect. And
Hmm.
the universe will have our attention, however she must get it, you know?
Yeah, if it's
And sometimes
something
it just,
positive, yeah, or
yeah,
something negative that steers us in that direction.
or it scares
That's,
the hell out of us, however it works,
oh boy.
you know?
Yep. Hey
But
Tim.
yeah,
Tim's in the
that's
chat.
very true. Glad
Hey,
to see
Angel
Tim and
Song.
Angel
Oh,
Song. Yeah.
welcome to the show, Angel Song. I'm not sure if I've ever seen you here before. Welcome to the Quantum Show. You are here by Quantum.
Yep. Yep.
You were meant to be here. Thank you for coming by. Um, but yeah, this week has been, the past 2 weeks really have been,
Yeah.
ooh-wee.
Yeah. 2 weeks for you and about three for me. About
Mm,
that. We are so diverted, and it's intentional, and not necessarily by ourselves, but by outside sources.
yep.
And these are situations that we have to be somewhat mindful of. It's very easy to get pulled in every single direction, whether it's the bright lights, the shiny stuff, the colors, and you know
Hmm.
that our friends or our neighbors or others saying you got to do this or you got to do that, and you just feel like somebody's got one arm and another arm and both legs and everybody's head in a different direction,
Hmm.
you know and it's mindfulness. It truly is. It's staying well is a lot easier than being sick and clawing back up from it.
Yeah.
you know
Yeah. And our bodies, ourselves, want to be healthy.
oh yeah.
It wants to get on track and stay there. And our egos get in the way. Well, I want all this drinking. I want coffee. I want this fancy food that's not
Yeah, fancy
necessarily good
food,
for
yeah.
me. All the junk food. And yeah, it's really practical in its application.
Yeah.
We don't need the woo woo to know, don't eat nails and don't drink paint. That's,
Yeah, we're kind of intelligent enough to figure that out. But
yeah,
paint
those
thinner is
things.
sometimes attractive, you know. And we have to realize that when we get ourselves into a predicament, whether it's a UTI, heart attack, kidney stones, and
Yeah.
other things, cancers, things of that nature, that's
Yeah.
our call to prayer. That's our call to stop and calm down.
Yeah.
I've got
Calm
a lovely
down.
candle. It says, whenever you're stressed, light this candle and calm the fuck down.
Yeah. Connect.
And
I Did you like the way I went down this list here?
I did
I
very
said
much.
knowing a problem, connecting with self, and the tools and methods to use to heal yourself.
Yes.
I like that. I like those because I had to think about, how am I going to put this?
Hmm.
Because my mind does not work point, 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 point. My mind is like
No,
all over the place.
it's
I
a
had to,
shotgun blast, like mine
yeah,
is.
I had to refine some stuff to be able to speak about it because
Yeah.
uh, I know there are a bunch of different shows like this one, like ours, that they're able to refine and stay on topic. And you know what that makes me think? They might not be as in touch as they think they are.
Or
They
we
may not.
might not be, because
Yeah,
it can go either way.
right. I
You
mean,
know.
from my perspective, since we're all over the place so much, we're taking into account all the little things that, you know, with jokes and distractions and
Yeah.
stories, we're taking into all that account. It's like describing a fever dream is this show.
I like that. Yeah, that's real descriptive.
I
You know,
mean,
a lot of it is you have 5 very intelligent people, sometimes 6. You don't have anybody on here that is not extremely intelligent. And,
yeah,
you know, intelligent people are not corralled, and that's a lot of it. They truly aren't. And getting them corralled is like herding cats,
yep. There ain't
you
no,
know?
yeah, not gonna
You're gonna
happen.
get scratched, that's all there is to it, you know? I think we've
Right.
both seen that commercial where they're herding cats. I love that. Anyway, I thought, "Oh, there's my life," you know? Anyway, uh,
Yep.
being able to think quantumly, which is really random, really wild, distractible, and wild magic, if you will, we, had got to figure out how to bring ourselves in, know when to do that, and when to set it free because
Mhm.
there's time for both. We all have a terrific amount of ideas of how to approach them. And what's truly quantum is there isn't a wrong idea. There isn't
Right.
one wrong idea.
Right. And
You know,
all the
some are
things that
more
can
right
go
than
wrong.
others sometimes, but
Right.
yeah.
That's a neat little point that
Yeah.
when we impose that idea, the wrong idea, so to speak, the
Yeah.
conditions follow, and
Yeah.
that wrongness follows,
It
be it
does.
lead it good or bad, mostly bad. When you're mistaken and you go through with it, it
Yeah.
doesn't have a good outcome, right?
No,
But
especially if you know right off the bat that this isn't gonna end well because your guides will tell you.
yeah,
And
and even without guides, right? For the muggles out there, even
yeah,
without guides, your instincts will tell you, and you will see, this isn't going according to plan. This isn't working out very well. But
right.
I have an idea, and I'm stubbornly going to stick to it. You know what?
It
That
goes
will
to
spread
places.
itself out.
It
It
does.
will, yeah,
It'll blow up in your face.
yeah, and
It truly
maybe
will.
not, maybe not in a big way. Maybe it'll, how do I put this? You will
Creep.
follow your steps, and each step of the way will have bad things happen.
Yeah.
And even if it's not a big bad at the end, little things you will encounter all the resistance and all the things, everything. If it could go wrong, it would go wrong, will go wrong. Okay.
Well,
When it's not
too,
supposed to
I've
be that
seen
way.
very good ideas just not come to fruition. Every bad thing happens to them.
Hmm.
And you got to wonder, okay, what did we do wrong? How did we go wrong? And
Yeah.
maybe we didn't. Maybe we got the ball rolling and somebody else had to pick it up for whatever reason. I mean, some of us are getting on in the world, getting on our age. Some of us are starting out, and maybe that idea is not yet ready to come to pass. You
Yeah.
know, keeping the idea and running with it in its time is not only a good idea, but crucial to its success.
I had a small string of events
Hmm.
happen just recently with ye old secret project. Okay.
Yeah.
Everything seemed to be going wrong. Parts weren't available, parts weren't coming in, this wasn't happening, I couldn't get email through, all those things, but I was determined.
Uh-huh.
And you know
Uh-huh.
what? Okay, nothing blew up, but literally the other side came to me as directly as it could and said, "Hey, you need to tone it down." And
Sometimes you gotta.
that's yeah. I mean,
It's just
when
not
the other
ready to
side
come.
calls you out by name, you
Oh yeah.
listen. I mean, all the little hints and all the little things like that don't matter. Oh, they weren't making it through. Okay, I had to have that. She called me out of out of nowhere. I wasn't expecting this phone call and says, "Nathan, I have a message for you, and it's important." And relayed the message. I was like, "Oh boy, yeah, is um, this is a big deal."
Yeah.
you know.
Our guides can do that when we're in touch with them. And it's fairly easy to become uh friendly with your guide, you know.
Hmm.
But yeah, I've had times when they've come to me and sat on my chest looking down my nose like a cat might and said, "What the hell are you thinking?" You
Hmm.
know, because I'm stubborn too. I mean, I would make it go if I'd have to take it out and push, you know.
Hmm.
And we just have to realize if the universe comes to us in however the form is, it's not necessarily guides or, a simple matter of a string of very badly placed events,
Hmm.
can do the job. They will stop us if they have to. But if we get stubborn about it and say, I don't care what goes on, we're going to go through with this, uh, you're going to get your fanny handed to you.
Yeah, and I luckily have an easier way to get in touch with me than the ambiguous signals.
Yeah.
There was nothing ambiguous about this.
Oh, no.
I
I
I
know it
would
was.
like we've got a couple new people in the chat. So let me explain who Xena is, right? I'm just going to go through who Xena is. All right. I say Xena. I don't mean warrior princess from the TV. I have no other name to go by. This is my spirit guide. She's a football coach. She's over 6 feet tall or more. I don't know. At this height, anything over 6 feet tall is
An
huge,
Amazon.
right? Yeah. Well, she's like that, and her attitude is to match. She regularly, uh, regularly goes to a friend of mine to relay messages to me because she's more aware than I am. She's in
Hmm.
that state of mind most of the time, whereas I am not. And she will call me regularly and tell me what's up. And she go now. What I have been told is that Xena has a very strong personality. Now she puts on the kid gloves for me, right? But not for
Nice of her
her.
to put on gloves.
What's up?
Nice of her to put on gloves.
Yeah, she puts on she's very, very nice and sensitive with me. Strong football coach, but not, like over there, she goes almost full poltergeist. Okay, knocking stuff over, shaking. She shook the table, and I heard it. I heard it. Something else that she has done, and I'm still not convinced this was not the FBI CIA. Was I was talking to my friend, and I said, just like jokingly, I was saying, do this, do this, do this. And I jokingly go, are you getting this? And we both heard, yep, not us, not me, not her. Yep. We heard, yep. And I was like, who's that? Who's that?
Oh,
It's
that's
the
terrific.
FBI, CIA.
Yeah, so you're lucky you haven't been banging down your door. We sent them pizza one time,
Yeah.
you know. But no, seriously, the average individual's guides usually aren't as energetic as ours can be.
Yeah. We're open to it. We're
Yeah,
open to it. I
that's
get
where it is.
signs too. I get the
Yeah,
repeating numbers and the matching numbers and the blue balloons. That
yeah,
was
they're
crazy.
willing to play the game if we have to have it played. But
Yeah.
you get to a place, or should maybe not. We won't say should. It's possible.
Hmm.
Where games aren't necessary with us. Now, me, I got to be hit over the head with some things, but my
Hmm.
guides are perfectly willing to accommodate me, you know, and they'll stop me if I need stopped. They'll also
Hmm.
encourage me if I need to be encouraged, you know. It, and they are direct. They are the direct link to your deity,
Hmm.
however you perceive them.
Yep. And for everyone who's out there listening, just walking in, we had a couple people walk in. Shadow just walked in. And I don't know how many he brought with him because the number just jumped up from like 4 to 12. And that's just awesome.
That's
Welcome
good.
to the Quantum Show, everybody. Hit like and subscribe. If you're here, you're quantum. You were
So
meant to be here.
we're gonna try to keep on topic today
Yes, I have a list.
and keep our noses into the show the way they're supposed to be, and not all over everything and into recipe book. Hi, Edgar.
Yeah.
Gonna say hi to everybody in the chat
Yeah.
today. Appreciate
I
you
try
being here.
to. Yep. Hey, Crafting Gamer, Shadow will be here soon. Edgar, Diane, Destic, Angel Song, new to the show. I said Diane and Tim. Tim was first one in tonight. Tim was first one in tonight. He has, you know what? He is just about as quantum as it gets. Okay.
Yeah.
You really are, dude. You really are. You're about as
Yeah.
quantum as it gets. And your quantum comes out in your music because your
Yeah.
music actually stirs emotion. It actually does,
Okay.
like a symphony.
That's a good songwriter when they can start strumming your heartstrings.
Yeah.
That
I mean, it's like,
heartstring business is for real. Your heart
yeah,
is
it's
connected in there with strings, and they
like
literally
classical
can be
orchestra.
broken. Yeah,
Yeah.
they can be broken.
I've listened to his music and it's like classical orchestra and it reaches in, right? And I
Yeah,
was like, wow, damn, dude, you put this together. Holy, oh my God.
terrific. Yeah. It
Um,
getting back to what we were talking about. You know, I think a lot of times we think of ourselves as being alone in the universe, but we aren't alone
no.
by a long shot.
Mm-mm.
We're looking at not only our own guides, but we have to remember that our guides are here for us. They are
Mhm.
not here for the guy next door or your best friend. They're here for us.
Yeah.
And what's good for us isn't always good for the next guy.
Mhm.
It's very possible that the thing that you can go do and get away with, okay, I'll put that in there, get away with, uh, the next person is not going to get away with, and is not going to be able to bring off. So, when they give you an idea or a direction, it's for you.
Yeah. And that goes back to where Xena is nice and gentle with me
Hmm.
compared to the way she delivers messages. Can you
Well, she's not
imagine?
gonna
Oh,
be denied, that's for sure.
right. And it's like, okay, I have to talk to you. You have to get, and then all of a sudden stuff starts shaking, you know? She said that that's what happened. The table started shaking like an earthquake, but it was only the table. And things started getting knocked over around the room. No cats
Yeah,
in sight.
yeah.
Oh, the cats all took off.
Oh,
It
yeah,
was,
I bet.
yeah, they know
But,
what's up.
I think too, when you're talking about energy healing can encompass a lot of different kinds of discipline, and of course, nobody here on this panel is a medical health
Nope.
professional. We're not. What we are, some of us are very experienced in the medical health field, but we're not doctors. And we don't want to make any idea that we are giving out medical information because we are not.
Mm-mm.
Our stuff is spiritual and emotional and sometimes touches the body in a positive way.
Mhm.
So long as everybody understands that about us, you know,
Yes.
that it's something that might work for us perfectly well as far as our diet and consumption might be an absolute no for the next person.
Right.
If you're allergic to something, honor that. Be allergic, stay away from it. It's easy. So, that's interesting. I'm going to
Mhm.
try not to read what's going on in the chat because, we have a program going on here. So we want
Yeah.
to make sure that we stay on task as well as we can.
Mhm.
We're going to
I'm not I
try
have the
out
chat
trying to corral ourselves.
trying to
Right?
stay on target. But it's hard to do because, Lynn, we have a lot of experience doing this stuff. I'm realizing I
Yeah.
have a lot of experience. I talk
Yes.
to people and it's all new to them, and I've been doing it for years,
Oh, yeah.
and they have no idea, and I'm like, "How can you not know about this? How can you know about" just from the simplest things like herbal things, you
Well,
know?
even we have to remind ourselves that even even people in our craft, okay, we all just went through a very traumatic time of history. We
Mhm.
lived through it, which was doing something, and we gotta give ourselves some space to get through that.
Yeah.
A lot of our things that we were doing very routinely suddenly went away during COVID, you know. And I'm just
Mhm.
saying routinely, you know, it, whether it was going to a grocery store or out to eat or socialize with friends, covening, churching, all of these things were stopped cold. It was like we all fell off the earth to each other. And we have to learn again how to get on with one another. We have to learn again to allow ourselves to be safe when we're out, allow ourselves to be uh, open to strangers.
Mhm.
I don't personally. I got very reclusive very quickly and liked it.
Yeah. I did
you
the
know,
same.
you know
I
why I came out? Some guy on a quantum show said, "Come on over here," you know. So I began to realize, oh my God, I had just absolutely curled up and tried to disappear.
Mm.
We all got very, very frightened very quickly.
Yeah.
And
And
that's
you
how
know,
much we need each other.
yeah, and on my end, I was actually pushed out there, out here. I was pushed because I was I had Shadow helped. Shadow helped me a lot to get this out here because he had been watching me go to from show to show, just talking to people, just being myself.
Right.
And he goes, Nate, you need your own show. You need to do this. Look at
Mm,
my show and
what
exact.
about it?
He talked me up. He did, and I realized that I was being shown an opportunity, and I wanted to take it.
Yeah,
And it was better than a fighting chance. And that doesn't click all the time. You know, when I get
that's
handed
true.
something, it doesn't click. Oh, well, this is for me. No, I'm usually given a fighting chance. Like you can do this, but you got to do all this other stuff first. That's not
And
so
you
with
walked
this
in
show.
and owned this.
Yeah, it just started to flow. Okay. Yeah, everything
I
has a
will say that I am
mhm.
very grateful for the opportunity because I didn't
Oh,
anticipate having one. So
yeah, it literally came out of the blue, out of the
yeah,
quantum.
well, um, you are a very likable individual, and you're very well spoken, and that is very, very important to this enterprise. You can't come
Yeah.
on here and speak roughly or any of that and expect people to want to hear what you have to say. Simple as
Hmm.
that. And then back to the energy part of that. The vibe is good. You know, when we can share those vibes and let other people show them how to take that vibration and get it going in themselves and reach higher than maybe they ever thought they could.
Yeah.
And that's
You
the
know who
goal.
Tim does this on a regular basis with
Mhm.
his music. He does.
See?
He communicates how he feels through his music. And it's not like some music you will hear, it just drags you along and you're like, "Oh god, I feel like I'm being pushed over." It
Well,
doesn't
it's
do
like
that.
I'll
It
tell
doesn't do that.
Frank for some things it's music to slit your wrists by, and
Mm,
that's not a good thing, you know.
no. Yeah, and
So
for me, Tim's music, yes, Tim, I'm using your music to compare to
yeah, good stuff.
where this show has gone and where your music moves me, right? I find myself listening more and more, dude. And it just
Is you have to
yeah,
take that inspiration where you need it and
yeah,
put
and
it there.
it's like I'm just comparing, right? That for the first little while the show was rough. It was only the panel. No,
Mhm.
everybody was yelling and talking and not even and it ended up being something totally different. Like I may have put it in the description. Um I want to go back over some of the topics from the early shows because I didn't really get the point across. Like the golems, tulpas, and AI didn't really get the point across. And I'm going to revisit that in
Okay.
in a in this current format that we're doing here, the first hour solo and then the panel, because before it was just, well, James L put it right, just a bunch of guys hanging out shooting the shit. That's not what I wanted, right?
Right.
I
Right.
mean, there's time for that, but I wanted to do this here, and it's
Well,
working.
it's like we were talking a little bit ago. Do we look at other people's things and say, how can I work that in? I like that. Can I make my thing better? And this is
Hmm.
this is really the way of human beings is to take an idea and make it better, make it
Yeah,
more,
yeah. People call
not
that
not
stealing,
to
but
ruin it.
no, it's not.
No.
It's not stealing. It's deriving. It's being inspired.
Mhm.
You are
You know,
inspired. I've been inspired by a lot of stuff. Here comes Joe is coming in as soon as his devices get connected,
okay. But it's
and
like
we are
passion.
super zoomed in.
Unfortunately, I can't find my camera.
It's right. It's showing you.
No, I built
Are
that
you
real quick like.
Oh, well, we see part of
okay?
your face.
I
It's
know it's meant to be part of my telescope.
okay.
Ah,
Yeah,
But
you don't have the right parts. Just throw them together, eh, Joe?
right.
Like I said, everybody on this panel is brilliant. You know, and
we make it work.
our support too. You know, it's like when I can't make things go, I like Frank, help me. You know that what we were talking about is how to make energy work for you and do for you better. You know, you heard the first part of the show.
No, I was busy soldering. I'm sorry.
Oh, okay.
Oh, or
Okay.
do you mean the solo?
The solo.
Yeah, I heard the solo.
Okay.
Okay. We're pretty much going over that point
Yeah.
by point because I actually had a form to follow, and it was I got approval on a couple different levels already that it worked with really well.
Yeah.
Uh, has anybody taken your temperature?
Not lately. I need to take mine. I can do that later. Why do you
I'm
ask?
wondering.
He drank coffee. He slowed down. What do you want?
Are you sure he's not an alien being? I mean, having this
No,
organized.
an alien wouldn't know what we're
Oh,
talking about here.
I wouldn't call it organized. I would say maybe a little more aimed
Structured.
in, but not,
Structured.
yes, a
Structure.
little more,
Yeah,
but not
sure.
organized.
Yeah, it is hotter than a three-ring circus in here. Do you think
Mm.
you could turn the air conditioner on, please?
It's 49 degrees outside.
I'm not outside, thank you. It it is it is hot in this room.
I'm in the back room, so
Oh, you're cold.
you know.
A little bit chilly. Put that
Oh,
big
you know,
fluffy dog on you. That'll take care of business.
She's running around here. I don't know where she went to, but she's in the house.
She is. He brought home My Little Pony. I swear. She's a pretty animal. Very beautiful.
I think I got too much light on in here. Whew.
I think maybe that would help because it's reflecting
yeah.
an awful lot. But with the energy we're talking about here, you know, we're talking about the guides first and how they help direct us, not necessarily tell us what to do, but direct us in a direction. And if they got to get mean with us, they'll open up and be mean. You know,
Hmm.
I think.
No,
Oh, there he is. Okay.
no. I just turned off the camera for a minute.
Okay. Okay. That anyhow, what what we were talking about is how to get this done for ourselves, each of us. You know,
Hmm.
and of course, getting in contact with our own guide and our own deity, however you perceive it, whether you see it as the universe or as God, Jesus, Buddha, the goddess, in any aspect of any of them, you
Hmm.
know, once you've been able to make that connection, that's when you can start to do some of the neater things, I'll say. You know, but meditating and learning how is key to most of it. And sometimes that's self hypnosis, but most times it's more like uh, it starts as prayer and then you begin to fly. You know?
Well, that's another form of self hypnosis there.
Yeah. Yeah. So I get in good and deep in my prayer. I'm there, and
Be
I'm
right
happy
back.
as a
Coffee.
clam. And there's a certain amount of emotional calm and focus involved in that you can't get from anything else. And I think it's necessary to human structure for our health and well-being.
Well, I think Nathan just ran off to go get his coffee.
I believe so. He said he was gonna, and he's gone. And we'll see if we can spot anything wandering through. Did that one day. That Now it's a lot darker in there now. We kind of see you, but we see more of your headphones than we do you.
Well, they're white and highly reflective.
Yeah.
And this
But
the photo sensor I'm using is really designed for a telescope, but I changed some lenses and I did some soldering, and I will find my
I think we're going to stay with energy and how it works with energetic healing, Derek. Appreciate the thought. We'll consider addressing it later, but we won't be doing it tonight. I'm talking to Derek about the negative alien forces, and we'll consider talking about it another day. Right?
Oh man.
Yeah. This show is focused on personal energetic healing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different kinds of that. Yeah, tonight. We'll think about doing that another day. But there's a lot of different kinds of energetic healing. There's a sort where an individual just, camps out in their bedroom with some good hot chicken soup and runs it out. And there are others, such as Reiki, where you work with another person who generally is a Reiki master of some degree. Your coven master or your priest or priestess can often help you with these things and should be able to.
Yeah, you can also call it polarity work too.
Yeah. Yeah, but there's a lot of different kinds of energy work that you can work on just your overall health and not worry about healing something specifically.
Right.
But if you are ill, they're the guys to call.
Not yet, Edgar. We haven't gotten to the end of the broadcast yet, where we do get into recipes. Yeah. We'll get into recipes. We'll come up with something, even if it's quartz stones and chicken soup or turkey
I've
soup.
done it. I've made soup that had many healing properties in it and gone from there. Yes, I'll behave.
Yeah, we'll wait until then.
But that's a form of healing too, because I believe Socrates said, "Let your food be your medicine." Was it Socrates or Plato?
Mm-hmm.
I don't care which one
that
of them.
Socrates. It was not Plato.
At this point, Plato I don't think they care who gets.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's out there somewhere. It came from somewhere.
Yeah.
So it came from one of them Greeks.
Yeah. Them old antiquity guys. But yeah, there is plenty of help out there from the organic foods people.
Angel Song, that's a way to kill me.
Right. He's
Yeah, it
he's
is.
allergic. He's
That's kind of
allergic.
why I said that other thing, that what will be absolutely great for me is not going to be good for the next guy, and we
Right.
have to be vigilant about that.
Right. Okay, Derek has a question. I posted it up there, shown it up there. Do you believe healing energy forks heal health issues? That has a context behind it that needs to be explored for that particular direct question to be answered. Okay. So
As far as angel songs or
No,
what?
no, no, no.
it's on the
What
screen.
about?
Derek,
Forks, like tuning forks, okay? They're like
Oh,
tuning forks.
I think they could each one be explored individually
Well, not only
because they
that, but
they fill a book.
a recent study that I just saw this week. They say that if you take a frequency above 200 megahertz and go to the 11th octave above it and channel and put both of those together against cancer cells, the cancer cells actually explode while the healthy cells stay alive. And yeah,
mhm,
these are tuning frequencies. Yeah, we've known for a long time. Like
And they're
why?
going on.
Yeah, we have 440 hertz as A, but the actual frequency that works for settling people down and calming their emotions is 442 hertz. So somebody came along and screwed things up when they thought they.
mhm. Yeah. So if you know, okay, to Derek's question, now that I understand, right? Healing for meaning tuning forks, meaning frequency, meaning vibration. Okay,
Yeah.
Right.
now that I understand, uh, different frequencies for different things. If you, there's a lot that's been written on this,
Yeah.
and people show it on YouTube. That's where I go. If you want direct, quick answers, I guess you go to YouTube and you go, just put in YouTube healing frequency to listen to, or just healing frequency and a purpose, right? Whatever your purpose, astral projection, body healing, speaking to your guides, telepathy, all those things.
And believe it or
You
not,
can,
what we have an expert on the panel that should be coming up soon who made a lot of those type of tapes.
okay, who
Um,
are you referring to?
Shadow and Son.
Oh, yeah. He's into that. He's into that.
Yeah.
And
Well,
now that's
I know a person who resides in Reno who is basically uses her voice to hit those notes, and I'll tell you what, they can be absolutely body vibrating, and she gets pretty good results. You know, sometimes I let her work on me, and you know, after she's finished, just I feel better. But I wonder too sometimes with some of this, do I feel better because thank God it's over? Or you know,
Yeah, especially
or
her.
yeah, or is it a positive thing? Um
mhm.
we're asked a question in the chat by Angel Song, and I think
I'm going to bring it
that
up.
this is
I'm going to bring it up.
a good place to talk about that a little bit. Why would I think I need guides? Well, firstly, I don't think so. I know so. Okay, they wouldn't be in my life if I weren't needed for some reason or other, and I think it is one of the ways that the universe is able to speak to us directly, because I think talking to the universe one to one sometimes can be a bit overwhelming, where a guide is a little less so That's why. Now, as
Yeah.
far as trusting answers in my own heart, I absolutely do. Because I have
I
free will. I'm able to choose what I'm going to do with my life my way.
right. And
So
let me throw in on that.
yeah,
Let me throw in on that. When it comes to the answers within your heart, yes, they are there. We have to get over our egos because we think
yeah,
we know something. We think we want to think that we are the tip top and that we are we have all the information. We don't. Okay. Any given situation, we never have all the information. So we're feeling our way through. And we have to get over
and
our own egos, thinking that we know best.
we get stubborn. We do. We get very stubborn and think that there is only one direction. And the universe sometimes will hit us right in the back of the head and say, now listen here, this is going to kill you. You need to stop. Or however it goes. I mean, many times we have a subtlety going on where things are showing us signs that the direction that we're headed maybe isn't our best interest. But there are a few stubborn characters like myself, maybe Nathan, maybe Joe too. I bet you Santa's in there somewhere. But
Yeah.
it's they are there to help us. They are not there to tell us what to do. They're there to help us choose what is in our best interest.
Yep.
So I hope that helps somewhat.
I hope Angel Song. Yeah, I hope was that an answer to your question? I'm gonna go ahead and put this question back away and scroll back down and see. I was not ignoring and I was not putting it off. All questions are welcome.
Yeah.
And now
And
I just
sometimes
hope that
we just
that covered it.
there's sometimes with our chat there might be a dozen questions and they might be on a dozen different topics, and trying to answer them all, you end up with a hodgepodge in panel where we're not being effective at our job.
Tell me about it. That's
Right.
kind of why I'm late to the show. My panel was just going off tonight. Howdy, folks.
I'm glad to see you. How are you doing?
Glad to be back. Oh, fantastic as always. No complaints other than the weather is pretty nippy.
It's getting cold. Santa Claus is coming to town.
Oh, ho, 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 ho.
Yeah.
Hi,
Yeah,
everybody in the chat. How you guys doing tonight?
We were
We're
just
doing fine.
stepping on one of your old jobs,
Which was
making those self-hypnosis tapes and things like that, self-improvement
awesome.
tapes.
They're so helpful, and you've got the total safety of being in complete control of just about everything, other than what you might find out about yourself. And that could be the biggest danger is finding out things you weren't ready to face, and there you have it right there, your own voice telling you things you might not be ready to hear, but otherwise, for some of the smaller things like quitting smoking or quitting bad habits or developing good habits, there's very you're going to listen to yourself more than you will anybody else, and trust me, it works.
And that's who your guides really are.
Yeah, true.
You
Your
know what?
guides are part of yourself.
Shadow, you stumbled across some of that quantum link right there, okay?
Yeah.
I have to
Would
say
be the
this
first
is an
time. I hope
interpretation
it's
of
not
it.
the last. I hope it's not the last time
Yep.
either.
Because
Well, we did it on purpose this time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember when I told how Xena introduced herself before she had a name, before she had a voice, everything? I heard myself talking to me, and I accepted it because it was me. I thought it was me, and I'm not the only one who goes through this
No.
this
Derek,
particular process.
Derek, believe it or not, it was one semester in high school psychology. My teacher, Mrs. Berg, way back in the old days, started talking about it, and I just fell into it like, duck into water. It was super easy, and by the end of the semester, I was making tapes for her and writing scripts for her to then go off and make tapes. I don't know what she did with it. Believe it or not, it was a continuation in high school, and I had a lot of success, and I hope the scripts and the tapes that I made, did some good. But each person is got their own situation and their own demons to fight and conquer. So give it a shot. The technology today is where you can do things a lot easier than we did with multiple cassette players and things like that.
Cassette tape player, huh?
You had to have two of them, if you're going to do it to yourself and record what you said,
Yeah.
So that you could, review what was really going on. Now we've got, you could probably do it all on a phone or, a phone and a tablet, and, delete it really easy and, go over it. You could even probably, get
transcripts.
Yeah, right. Speech to text, right. And read it out and go over it. And, once you get into, getting to the point where you can put yourself under properly, you can almost do it, not quite while you're awake, but you can, access some of the subconscious while you're conscious, and go over the things and tell yourself things and reconfirm everything. And, if you have any questions, just try it out, see what happens, and get back to us. I'd love to hear about it.
And it's part of doing magic in a circle is doing the self-hypnosis. Now it's guided self-hypnosis, but if you've got a good leader, the first thing they tell you is you have the right to discontinue this. You have the right to separate anytime you want to. You will not have a headache. You will not suffer anything. In fact, you'll feel good.
Right. However, there are some dangers, with strangers. That's why I recommend doing it yourself, as well as, you could, if you don't really think about what you're doing and write out, plan out what you're going to do and say in the first tape, you could have some, potentially dangerous consequences developing, new ways of thinking and habits and things that you weren't really ready for. So really think a lot about what you're doing.
Well, I think too.
Raven.
She's trying to come in.
Hi, Raven.
Hi.
You ready to class up the joint?
I don't know about that.
Oh, thank you so much. I remember you. It's
She does that everywhere she goes.
She does.
What?
Class up the joint.
Oh, God, I'm such an idiot. I had a brown recluse that I was chasing around the studio. Big one. He was right up here. I could have. I mean, he was big. I just happened to notice him, and so then I.
Sure, it wasn't Charlotte.
I was gonna say, as long as you're not talking, you're okay.
So then he was fast, so I ended up just trashing everything with the shop vac hose, trying to get at him. But I got him.
Sucks.
Victory was mine.
Yay.
What we were speaking about here a minute ago. There's nothing that says when you do these hypnosis, to put in the remark for yourself that something you're not ready to look at and face is okay to skip over, and it is. We don't have to do things we're not ready for.
Yeah, that's why I recommend you write everything down.
Also, frame of mind.
Mm-hmm. If you're upset and angry and
when you are
ticked off with things, best not to be doing it.
Angel song, we inner circle in perfect love and
Right.
perfect trust.
And something else is that I did this with my history class. When you are not in the right frame of mind when you make the tape, it won't ring true when you listen to it. Even asleep, it will not ring true. It will, something will be like, wait a minute, I've thought about this. I don't feel this way. Maybe I was angry or insecure or something, but this is not coming through like it ought to.
Well, Dorothy, I don't think a lot of people are alive. Their bodies are, but they're not alive.
Raven and I were talking about the NPCs the other day.
Yeah, people, the lights aren't on. But I think, too, one of the things that, in Circle, we do these things together, and there has to be absolute trust or it doesn't work out. And, but when you're on your own with this thing, there's a number of fail-safes you can plug in for yourself that will protect you from outside entities, will protect you from things that you're not willing to face. And, overall, take care of you while you're doing this meditation. And your guides, your guardians, they're there to protect you. And if you're scared to death that those things are not working out for you, there's more to look at.
Mm-hmm. And Dorothy, I brought that comment up right now. Seems people are operating on a level showing that they're very much hypnotized and not in a good way. Yes, that's where we come in. We are wrecking that bad frequency set. That's what we're doing right here. And why do you think we have so many technical problems?
It's like scrolling through Facebook mindlessly. That's a hypnotism. And if you don't break it, you're going to spend your days doing that. And instead of taking care of your kids and your household.
Well, and every time you watch TV, your brain goes into an alpha wave state, which makes you more suggestive. And all that programming, all those commercials, all that stuff goes right into your subconscious.
Oh, but nowadays,
they're so fine-tuned.
I got to have that.
That's why they're called programs, folks.
They're so fine-tuned to turn things on.
Yeah, nowadays they have advertisements out. Play this game, win lots of money, and
or points or scores.
No, money.
Money.
Yes.
My favorite are the drug commercials. All the new drugs they come out with.
I think this is part of the. Oh, I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
I think it's the Roman, like the Roman Colosseum now. Hey, come to the Colosseum, free bread.
Bread and circuses. Amen.
Bread and circuses, yeah. But the cognitive dissonance that goes on when you're seeing on, this nice couple walking hand in hand by the ocean. Meanwhile, the announcer is reading off all these long list of hideous side effects that will happen to you if you try this medicine,
Yeah.
Your eyes will bleed and, whatever.
Why does that one side effect always keep coming up? I'm not going to mention it, but
death.
No, not that one. Not that one. The really embarrassing.
It's there. It's
and since when is death a side effect?
I've said it. I've toted my television.
You're on the right track there, Nathan. You're on the right track.
Yeah. I toted my television upstairs to the second floor balcony, balanced it carefully on the rail, and sent it overboard. Never watched television since. But, there's plenty of things that sneak in. Things that are simply diversion. Why do we need diversion? Why is that?
Oh, gee.
It's funny you mentioned that.
Changing currency.
I recently learned like the Spanish word for fun is actually diversion. So
well, we need a certain amount of fun.
Yeah.
But if we aren't choosing the right outlets for that fun, it now becomes dysfunctional. there we are. So
Mm-hmm.
it's not nearly the fun we had. It's like being addicted to a shopping channel or a novella, a a soap opera, and you can
Right.
get horribly
Yeah. Everybody here should
reined
know what a
in by it.
novella is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
And
they're
that's just
pure,
TV.
they're pure
It's
evil.
almost
They're
required.
pure evil.
Yeah, they are. Um, things that you might not have ever thought about doing in your own life, those guys are committing on a regular basis
Well,
and
they've got a
seemingly
couple of
walking away with it.
they've got a couple of favorites, and they just stick with those. It seems
Yeah.
from my experience.
You
Yikes.
know, if you've seen one, you've seen all of them, and they're a horrible waste of time. But you know, when you're
You
doing
know what?
something creative with your
One try.
mind, please go ahead.
What?
There is one of those shows that I will say they wanted to be like everybody else, but they failed, and it was amazing. Port Charles. You can't watch it anywhere. It is an old. They had They had, check it out, cryptids, mad scientists, vampires, psychics
I
on a
guess you never watched
novella.
General
It was
Hospital.
all this stuff. Yeah, well, General
No, that's
Never
Hospital.
heard of it.
It was
That's just fun.
done differently.
You know,
I've never heard of it.
Everybody knows the best of them all was called simply Soap.
yeah, I
That
remember
was
that.
the funniest show of all time. Oh my God, that was so far ahead of its time.
Madam and Bob. I'll never forget those two.
Billy Crystal got his big break there, amazingly enough. And
Mhm.
I never saw it. I never watched it.
oh,
Neither did
I
I
think I might have saw it twice.
Oh, we're gonna have to hook you up with that. That was
It's
just.
hilarious.
It had aliens. It had possessed babies. It had freaking everything.
It had ventriloquist dolls on it. There
Yeah,
were
yeah.
probably some of the more outspoken than my grandma.
Isn't that where Benson got its start too? Didn't Benson spin off from that?
I think so. I think you're
What?
right.
Benson, the TV show Benson was a spin-off from Soap. I'm pretty sure, but I could be wrong.
I liked television when I was watching it. And I realized that, you know, I'm spending too much time at it and not getting on with what I was here for.
Mhm.
That should give everyone pause for thought. Are you doing the thing you're here
Mhm.
for?
Dark Shadows was a good one, as was Twin Peaks.
Yeah.
I was just going to say Dark Shadows. I used to watch that one
Mhm,
after
mhm.
school.
And that came on at first. It was on at 4:30. And I had to walk about a mile back to my place. So I was a kid. I was probably about, I don't know, 13, 14 years old. And that was on, and we were absolutely forbidden to watch it. Absolutely. You
Why?
couldn't, because my parents were very fundy, okay, fundamentalist. And
No
so
vampires, huh?
the thing is that my mother had a club that she went to. And when she wasn't home, why, we made it to the house in record time. I could run that mile in a hurry. And she went home, so we watched it religiously. So we're absolutely forbidden to watch that. Most television, actually.
Yeah, my parents were pretty strict about that too.
Yeah.
Hey, folks, I've been noticing something lately, and see if anybody else has noticed it as well. I know I talked to Raven about it a couple of times recently. Everywhere I go, I've been hearing people repeat the same phrase or something similar to how fast September, October, and November just flew by. Everybody I know, it was just like, boom, blink, and it's freaking over. Anybody notice
It was
that?
so hot here that it couldn't have been over quick enough to suit me.
Okay.
Seriously, we were cruising 110 degrees even at the
Right,
early
Cindy?
part of October.
Yeah, we were super hot, but
We were very hot, doing anything we
but,
could to
but
cool
we
off.
had people putting up their Christmas trees in October.
Yeah,
Oh,
The very
God.
1st of October, you'd see
yeah.
Christmas trees up.
Mhm.
You know, they tried to give it a Halloween spin, but it was Christmas lights. You know, and here
Well, they
we
didn't
are.
bother here.
Here we are at the first of December, very close, another week, and it's yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Let's ask
Like
Nathan.
everything speed up.
Nathan, I was just asking everybody if they had noticed or felt that the last couple of months have gone by in record time. Like we blinked, and September, October, November was over. Just
very fast.
Just like unusually fast. I mean, I've heard people say that before. You know, time's flying, or this week went by so fast, etc. And at first, I thought maybe it had something to do with daylight savings, but then I'm hearing a lot of other people, you know, parrot the same statement that, you know, especially
I've heard
October
that.
and November, that they just went by so fast. You know, I was talking to my son, and you know, he was, you know, talking about it too, how it felt like, you know, Halloween was just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, it was
It was.
well, like a week or two, not 4.
No,
Yeah.
I think it was more like 3.
But no, I
Yeah,
understand what you're
Halloween
saying.
seems like it just happened.
You know, it feels like we're much faster in the year. Even the tiding, that is, say the moon, the feeling of gravity, and that, you know, if you get to a place where you're really tuned to it, and even that has seemed to be very fast.
According to
So
You know
Greg
what? I
Braden,
got a
who's
thing. I noticed this.
go
Go
ahead.
ahead, Raven.
No, go.
Okay, well, I
you have
watched a
thought?
thing, and this is cosmologically speaking. This is not. She does not do spiritual. She does cosmological. She said that the universe, we keep experiencing time differently, right? And it seems to go faster and faster. Everyone says it. We've been hearing this for years. So it's incremental. It seems to have been incremental. Like we grew up a certain way, and now everything is lightning fast. I can't keep up type thing, because we were where we were when we had our main thought processes begin to form. Us here, we're more malleable, so we can adjust pretty quickly. But cosmologically, the universe is speeding up. And
The
what
thing
does that do for
is,
time?
the thing is that the time on Earth is actually slowed down enough that they're not talking about making a leap second this year. They're talking about making a leap minute this year.
Mhm.
Oh,
Okay,
that's terrific.
that's the
That's a huge
relative.
amount of time.
That is the relative.
So,
That's part of the relative part, right? I'm talking about this girl. I need to put her link in the description after the show. She talks about things like what the Hubble found, what the James Webb found, things that we've been discovering, misconceptions cleared up. She has said that through the years of observation, the universe is expand. We know the universe is expanding, but it's speeding up. It's not slowing down like an explosion. There's a lot of talk about this stuff, and it
Oh yeah,
directly affects us in the quantum.
between star systems, it's speeding up for sure.
Greg
Right.
Braden talks
Gravity
about the
is
fact that it
relative
has
to
to
time.
do
Time is relative to gravity.
it has to do
Go
with the
ahead,
light photons.
Raven.
that we've got more light photons hitting the planet based on where we are in space. We're on like one of these outer arms, and the whole thing is spinning around. It looks like, kind of like a hurricane.
Our centrifugal force.
And from
the
where
inside's not as fast as the outside.
Yeah. And just where we're at as we're coming around. And the yugas are based on those cycles, on those rotations.
Something like every 23 million years.
Yeah. And so this has been talked about before. We're coming out of the Kali Yuga, I guess, and going into, I can't remember what the name of the other one is. It's like if you would equate it to a clock, we're at like 6:30, like coming up to like 20 till 7. We're right in there. And when we get to 7 o'clock, we'll be in this new age of whatever next yuga's name is. But the time speeds up. And it's supposed to be a golden age. Yeah, kind of like what they talk about with Aquarius. Yeah. But it has to do with where we're at in our position in space out on this arm here of the Milky Way galaxy.
All right, we do it every 23 million years. So
yeah.
Enjoy it while you got it, folks. That's all I know.
Right, and all the gravity.
More light is coming back.
We're spinning. Yeah, we're spinning this. The whole system is spinning as a unit, and all those different gravity things are affecting our time, space time. Oh, here we go, space time, gravity. Yeah, oh man, the quantum rabbit hole all at once, and all of it. Yes. It affects us.
It's all quirky worky.
Yeah, well, yeah, I think we're switching timelines too. We're flip-flopping back and forth. There's some really...
We might be touching on other dimensions, because we all of us have some memory of something not quite like what we saw when we were a kid.
Quite the way it is.
Right.
Yeah.
And the sun... The sun is more white than it is yellow.
Yeah, you know what? The sun is
like
an
when we were
itself.
kids, we would use the yellow crayon, and now you see kids kind of making using the yellow crayon just for an outline and leaving the center of it white because it's brighter. It's like more hot, I guess. Isn't that the way it goes? It gets lighter as it gets hotter.
Well,
am I right about that, Joe?
Yes.
No?
Well, there's a color shift though, and it would be a color shift towards blue if it was getting too much hotter.
And blue is on the brighter side.
Right.
One thing to consider, and you called me this last week and stay at home because of all the solar flares that's going on right now.
Right. We have a bunch of sunspots coming to our side of the sun, and
I read about that today. There's a great big one.
Well, it's a series of them. It's not just one. It's a series of them. And we have somebody here who's got porphyria. So, yeah, I mispronounced that. But anyway, you don't want it, and you don't want to get out in the sun when you have it.
No.
Yeah. What is this solar flash that they talk about? Is that real?
Solar flares, yes.
Not solar flares. This is something different. It's called the Great Solar Flash, where it blinks some people into the next dimension, and other people it just kind of fries them. And the Earth does a split. Again, the ancients talked about it, and there's been that one guy that does the remote viewing, Ed Dames. Ed Dames is kind of, I think, I would have to say, in all fairness, he's just really a fear porn agent. He's been talking about this on Coast to Coast for a long, long time. But and he frames it in that we're all going to die. We're just solar flare is going to be belched off, and we're all just going to be incinerated, and that's it. It's over. And,
I'm not volunteering for that, so
I'm not. Well, I'm not either. But Then you hear David Wilcock talk about it, and he goes from a more historical aspect, and he's done research back into, again, the Vedas, and where they talk about the sun will cause as activity increases, consciousness on the planet will increase within the people, and then this solar flare happens, and some will be left behind, and some will go to like a new Earth.
Well, that sounds very biblical.
Yeah, that sounds very biblical, and I really.
I got plans.
Yeah, I do too. And I'm busy next week too.
It sounds very much. It sounds very much like a major solar flare directly hitting Earth, collapsing the
grid,
the magnetic shield, yes, and that would affect the grid. Now, it probably won't affect your car. It probably, anything that's kind of isolated, but anything that's attached to the grid is gone. That includes power generators. So we get knocked back, just like we've done before. We get knocked back to the caves.
Oh, great. I'm not signing up for that.
Yeah.
Neither am I. Shadow, can you tell us something about being prepared for this?
There is nothing you can do. And the worst
thing.
Well, batteries, water.
Oh yeah, sure.
Food.
I mean, the basics, and know your neighbors. That's, all the prepping in the world isn't going to do you a damn bit of good if your neighbors are pounding down your doors and taking your stuff. You get your neighbors ready, build a circle of people you can trust, as close to you as possible within literal feet. If like the old Twilight Zone, you build a bomb shelter and stuff happens and all your neighbors are trying to get in and, take your food because they're not prepared. We'll get them prepared, talk about it, have a community watch meeting and, you make sure who you can trust and who's on board and who doesn't give a rat's ass and think they'll just, take other people's stuff or it's not going to happen. Okay, well, when it happens, you're SOL because you weren't willing to do the bare minimums. Get that circle of trust going, know your neighbors, and then as a group, because you're not going to make it on your own. If you think you're just going to hole up in your house with your AR and a bunch of rounds and, you're going to stay up all night keeping people off your damn lawn, you won't last a week. You need a community that you can trust and people you can rely on.
Community, you said it. Community.
We've gotten so far away from community in this country. It isn't funny.
Yeah, that word is actually a 4-letter word in parts of the gaming community. There are people out there that get all kinds of butt hurt if you bring that word up when talking about the people in our hobby. That right there is the work of evil. Whatever evil is walking the land does not want us to be doing that kind of thing, reaching out to one another, being neighborly, caring about each other, including people into your extended family, that sort of thing. And I say, kiss my ass. I'm going to do it anyways. And I highly recommend it. It's actually incredibly enjoyable and very rewarding.
Thank you very much, Shadow. That's very enlightening.
It's just the truth, man.
We've kind of gone away from our original premise of the show tonight.
Right.
So
well, I don't know. It's all quantum.
That's okay.
Because
this is a healing conversation. I feel better already.
Not criticizing at all.
Yeah, but that's healing the community.
Yeah.
That's being prepared to heal the community. I think that falls along with healing.
No, I think you're right. I think you're right.
Something we're doing that we don't realize we're doing. And Joe, you've talked about this before, is that we are creating the good waves right here. Whether they hear the show or not, we're creating those good waves. And each one of our little nodes are radiating those good waves.
Right.
That's something that, because that leads me to Angel's comment here. I thought about this earlier this week because I random thoughts, right, came up, and I was thinking of, do you remember that app Randomica, where people were finding all this weird stuff start to happen? Well, that got me to thinking of the random number generations and the Schumann resonance. Okay, how you can. I need to read. This is something I need to look up and research. The Schumann resonance, as side by side with all these random numbers that have
You're
said,
breaking up, Nathan.
that have gone
Anybody
along
else
with
hearing
things. What?
Anybody else hearing
Yeah.
Nathan's voice
You're
breaking up?
breaking up awful bad.
See,
Yeah.
shadow ban right there. Shadow ban.
Yeah, it
They
had
don't
nothing
want
to
me
do with
talking
it.
about this
You guys
stuff.
are busy doing other stuff.
Hey, why don't you try lowering your voice just a little? I think it was overmodulation.
Could be.
Okay, let me try something.
You're fine now.
Let me edit my. Okay, I was yelling. I was so
Yes.
boxing it. Okay,
Yeah.
but with the random number generation, I would like to compare the random numbers, because when you look at the random number and compare them to history, whenever there was a big event, the random numbers went to a certain area of numbers, just not up or down, just a certain area of numbers. And I would like to compare those to what's going on with Schumann, because I was looking at the Schumann resonances, the local, and they hover around a certain point until they don't. And some things happened. Things have
That
happened.
makes sense.
It's very strange. And I would love to do a comparison of the random number generators like Randonautica, okay, like the ones they use, versus ones on the internet. You can set one up, and it's like a screensaver. It just runs in the background, and it doesn't take up any of your computer to run it. It takes up like 25K of RAM, which is nothing. We're all running gigs and gigs and gigs of RAM. So
Oh yeah.
I would like to run I wouldn't mind doing that with a Arduino, just a random number generator, and seeing where those numbers hover, and seeing whether.
That'd be a
Go ahead.
very interesting idea.
Tim, I disagree with you. The Carrington event was only 100 years ago, and they occur quite frequently. Now, we've the last, not this solar cycle, but the last solar cycle, we were watching potential Carrington events fly off the sun and somehow managed not to hit us.
Divine intervention.
Well, might be divine intervention, might be other intervention, but you have the conversation with Bing's AI all you want. I'm a ham radio operator, and we operate around that. And we've been well aware of the solar flares, and like I said, the last cycle we went through, I kept telling Lynn Ann, there's a solar flare going up here, and it made it all the way around the sun, and then it went off. So it is
like it's being pointed elsewhere.
It is about a once every 110-year event that Earth gets hit by one of these, and we're long overdue. The last one we had, which was the Carrington event, was probably the first one that was noticed because we had people observing the sun, and we also had telegraph wires stuck all over the planet, and those
technology.
Yeah, we started early technology, and people were getting shocked, trying to operate the telegraph keys,
or just machines with any kind of capacitance they were discharging.
Right. And
tractors.
Tractors. I think you're a little ahead of the schedule there. They were still steam tractors at that time.
Steam tractors. There's capacitance there.
Yeah.
You've got a differential between one material and another. That's capacitance.
Mm. Yeah, but people walk towards their fence. No, it's inductance that the solar flare works on, not capacitance.
Right. Well, no, I mean the devices that we're discharging. It's kind of like touching something after you charge yourself up. You are capacitance. You have the capacitance, and you rub your feet on the carpet, and you touch something, and you get a little shock.
I seem to remember something
you
about.
You can send me her references, but Tim, but
people would touch iron gates and get shocked pretty good.
Right. So this has happened, Tim. It's not an infrequent event. Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's overdue.
Often.
And we've had
we
one
can
that
have a show about this.
We had one that knocked out a part of Arizona not too long ago. It was the last solar cycle, but yes, we had a flare that directly hit Arizona and knocked out the grid in Arizona. So, you can send me her references all you want, but I've been a radio man for that whole time and know it. So, yeah, static electricity is always high this time of year because of the lack of humidity in the houses. Okay, Dorothy. So that's no big deal.
Also, we're not arguing; we're discussing.
No, that's all.
We can bring up any point and dissect it and compare and contrast. We are not arguing. So send me the references. Send somebody. I will put them in the description. We'll have a show about it at some time
down the road.
Yeah.
Right. And
but, I don't know who this her was that he was talking about, but that's
I'm
all right.
not sure.
I
would say, with all of the things that are that we are facing right now, and as a group of human beings, the very last thing we should be is at each other's throats.
Right. We should be hardening our grid rather than arguing about it, because it's going to happen.
Right.
The only reason that we've only become aware of it is because technology really didn't exist ahead of the last 200 years. We've been pretty much living off of fire and water and air, for the past several millennia, and only just beginning to come into some real technology. So, this time of our lives and in history is all real new. It's not like an old thing.
Okay, well, Tim, go back and ask her about the keratin event. Ask her about what happened last solar cycle in Arizona, and ask her for other examples of where the sun has knocked out locally, not worldwide, but locally, of the power. You're going to find there's a whole bunch of examples if you talk to her and give her some information, because they don't have it. They really don't have it. You depend on AI, but unless you ask the question the right way and provide the proper examples, it's going to give you what my dog leaves in the yard.
Random. It's gonna plug things in the hole. It'll plug things. I have been doing this, so yeah. Go ahead.
Yeah, steam engine, but we're talking. I was thinking about ignition systems, which do have capacitors in them. The late 1800s, we weren't really seeing that many engines running around the place.
Not yet. It's a relatively new thing for humanity. We've been around for more or less 1 million years. So that's about right. And technology as we know it, at least in this particular cycle of humanity, is something very recent. There's not a lot of ideas about it, but we we can surmise what's going to happen. We can run simulations and that sort of thing and have a fairly decent idea of it. AI is very good for that, but it has to be fed the correct coordinates. Everything has to be right. If you put garbage in, you're going to get garbage out.
Yeah. I had a thing I was going to say, but I lost it.
Majestic makes a good point. An AI hallucination where it makes up nonsense to fill in the gaps. It knows it's supposed to know, but it doesn't know, and it has to say something.
Right.
Like a first grader trying to figure out what to tell a teacher to make them happy.
Yeah, there was a couple lawyers that got information from Chat GPT and took it to court and found out that the computer had made up cases.
Oh,
it wants to please.
It saw a gap in information and filled it in with very probable information.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, and
the implications of that aren't scary. No.
Yeah, people have been saying lately that there's going to come a point where we're not going to be able to figure out the difference between us, real people, doing something like this, and AI's doing it. We won't know the difference, and that right there makes me want to,
That's scary.
Every time we engage with a bot, every time we engage with a survey, every time we engage with these things, they're feeding that information as AI to teach it what information is correct. That's how it's done. And they didn't just sort of stick a couple of batteries together and say, here, this thing knows everything. It has to be taught every bit of it. And if it's taught garbage, it'll be garbage.
Yeah, they recoded and refined and gave it more and more resources to do its thing. Oh, here we go. Dorothy's nailing it. Dorothy is nailing it.
Yeah, it's trippy, all right.
Is that why we keep having to check the box, no, I am not a robot? And why, and I PayPal there for the longest time made you take those dumb quizzes where you have to click the box, every box that shows a bicycle or a bridge.
Yeah, and they make the picture so tiny.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, and I failed them, and I feel so
Me
damn
too.
dumb.
Me too. Yeah. By the time I got in, I didn't even know, I can't remember any longer what I even wanted to be here for. I'd have to go through 3 or 4 of those things.
Yeah, we just, a lot of these free games, we say free games. They're to test our intelligence against them. I feel very
and to train us.
That's what it is.
You know how people have said, I swear my phone is reading my mind. It's algorithms. It's algorithms that are fed to us over and over and over, and subconsciously we're digesting them, and it's coming out as trained thinking. We're being trained. Our computers are not reading our minds. We're being programmed by the algorithms that are being pounded into us by all the games, all the stuff we watch, everything. it's trains of thought. It's probable outcomes, and it's nutty, but it's so
Well, if you're an English major and you know the certain words, I can't even think of one right off the top of my head, but a longer word for something that's common, they're not going to use the longer word. They're going to use as short as possible. And even that sort of thing can actually be lost. I'm looking at a quarter maybe or half of the Webster's dictionary isn't used in Google. It's just not. It might know what it means, but it will give you a series of nonsense before you come to the right answer. So you better know what you're looking for, because it sure doesn't.
Wow.
No, the Tharsis, gee whiz, that thing was absolutely invaluable when I was growing up. If you didn't have one of those books, you sought one.
Yeah.
And now they're like, what's that? It's like it teaches you how to think, how to use words. Some words are very, very appropriate, but some are more appropriate. My mom got a phone call from my number using my voice.
Yeah.
The AI was a bit off. My God, that's frightening as hell.
That is creepy.
Oh yeah, and there's nothing to say that it's being used legally.
Yeah. What'd you say, Nathan?
You give people a thing. Yeah, I haven't used that generative AI to do a podcast yet. I have thought about it, but the more I think about it, the less I want to do it.
No way.
Having AI like take this image right here and make me go and just talk about something random shit that I might have covered in the past or I might cover. Just have it. That's the way they keep trying to sell me that stuff, because I mentioned all this stuff on here at some point, and I'm on that list of sell
like
this guy this AI because he wants to be a blogger.
Copy and paste. And if you can use it, who can use it against you? Put up something that you wouldn't say and what didn't Tim is saying.
Right? It's already being done. Look at all. Have you all
Angel? That's not quite what it is. I looked into this. It's not like you're literally watching TV, seeing yourself and everything. It's the AI generating the images after you've told it what you dreamed. It's not like reading your brain and then you're watching it on a screen. I wish, because then that's all I would do.
It has a long way to go before it can be accurate and do what the headline said it can do.
It's not like an episode of
for that.
I wish.
No, it is not even on the right frequency to do that yet. They think they know, but it's not even on the right frequency to do that yet. It's literally translating. It's like going from French to German to something else. That's what it's doing. I read a little bit about it. I didn't read that specifically, but they're not, I mean, publicly, they're not on the right frequency to be able to read our mind and project it on a screen like a movie. They're not on the right. Privately, Angel brought it up earlier, where it was they're talking to us directly into our skulls. Yeah, they are, and I had a link in my descriptions a long time for Museum of Tarot, who sells electronic devices that wreck that stuff, and it's a counterbalance to all the stuff coming in. I really want one, but I'd rather build my own, or I'd rather me and Joe build a whole bunch of them and distribute them to everyone who wants one that comes on the show. Because dude's charging like $250. I'm like, I know we gotta live, y'all, but come on. I know we all gotta live and make
about learning
for ourselves.
I was seriously thinking about maybe I should learn a foreign language, like say jive. Absolutely not written. Makes sense to a certain group of people.
Oh God!
No, I'm very serious. It sounds hilarious, doesn't it? But
yes. Oh, God.
You know, I mean, kind of like the Navajo code talkers. You know.
Yeah.
They won World War II for us.
Well,
maybe it might not be a bad idea.
They helped. Not giving them that much credit.
I think it's going to go to that. I really do.
Tim is bringing up a link for they can put cat thoughts on a monitor looking for the link. Yeah, they're on the frequency for there, but they're not showing that they're on the frequency for humans yet.
Yeah,
trust me. What the hell is the cat gonna think?
Trust me, the cats will put a stop to that before it gets too far. They're gonna spill something on the right computer.
Yep.
It's gonna fry.
You got it.
They will not let that happen. Trust me.
Yep.
If you're not sure, just ask Raven how that works.
Yep. Yeah. He's right. He's absolutely right. It is astonishing what they can do. That's absolutely hilarious. Now, how do they know that those are the actual cat thoughts? Is what I want to know.
And all it's going to be is cats getting in your way when you walk and laughing at the
humans. The grandeur.
Yeah.
And then the banking system's going to crash.
They have just a very few thoughts. Leave me alone, feed me, pet me, and fuck off. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, I got a dog like that.
Are you sure it's a dog?
Let's tear something up.
You never know about Bob, what he's thinking. So
I know exactly what Chewy's thinking. I know what he's thinking right now.
I know what he is too. Somebody take me outside.
No, it's those damn humans eating all that food and not sharing. Where's my belly rub? That's it.
Oh, he could care less if you gave him a belly rub. And I'm not kidding.
Oh, no. You haven't seen
He'll tolerate it. He'll tolerate it. But as far as seek it out, no way. And he'll deign to allow me to share with him.
18 thoughts. They had 18 thoughts?
Yeah.
Well, I'm impressed.
Well, this is a meme. This is a meme.
More than we give credit for.
That is not a scientific study, okay?
Yeah.
It might be. You never know.
From cheeseburger.com. Let's figure that one out, folks.
So somebody actually paid somebody to stick a couple of electrodes on a colander for a cat.
Oh, hey, I'll do it for free. Oh, wait. What are we trying to do?
Get their thoughts, not
read their thoughts, not blow them up. Okay, there's a difference.
I just want to get them back in line.
You don't do that with a cat. I like cats, all right. You know,
Tim has put a link in the chat.
I'm perfectly willing to have cats be somebody else's. And, I know what it is. I like my stuff. That's what it is. And I really don't want a cat to come through and trash my stuff,
Yeah. I've got individual books that are worth 5,000 cats.
Well, it's not just that. I mean, order from Amazon without my knowing about it,
Yeah, Raven knows about that.
Yeah, they got it. They canceled my PayPal card while I was at the store.
Oh, God damn.
You should have seen the faces too.
I'm not kidding you. It was crazy. And
I remember that happening. I've forgotten about it.
Yeah. That was the nuttiest thing. I get up there to pay for my stuff, and I had a whole cart full of stuff, right? I like to do it once a month and get it all over with. And
oh my God.
And I'm like, that's impossible for my card not to work. So I just checked it before I left the house. Everything's fine. Well, see, I'd left the window open to PayPal, and one of them got up there. The laptop is the most prized piece of real estate in the whole house. They all went lay on the laptop because that's the one place I don't want them to be.
No,
they know your password, Raven. They know your password.
And I thought I had shut it down, but apparently I didn't. I left the window open, and somehow just from walking on it and just stepping on the keys and doing this kind of stuff, whatever, they managed to cancel it. So because when I called PayPal,
they didn't order a damn Lamborghini.
No shit.
You know,
I mean, the crazy stuff that goes on around here. I'm not creative enough to make this stuff up.
Or we're signed up for a timeshare.
You're not that imaginative, huh?
No.
You ever hear the song "Kitten on the Keys"?
Yeah. The lady at PayPal thought it was hilarious. I didn't find it very funny because she couldn't. She said, "Well, when that happens, I can't reinstate your card." I said, "I have a whole cart full of stuff here. How am I supposed to pay for this?" Because she said somebody from at your house has canceled your card, and I said that's impossible. I live alone, except for some cats.
That's when she started to guffaw, right?
And sure enough, when I came home, one of them was sound asleep up there, and he's the one presumably who did it.
Little bastard.
Oh,
anyway,
it's a mess. I had to leave all that stuff there at the store.
I would have been mad enough to have me cat for dinner. I'm telling
Kitty
you.
Flambe.
Kitty Flambe. Yeah, that sounds right about up my alley.
Kitty.
So how did you get out there in front?
I don't know. Who did that?
I told you I was going to do that. I'm playing with the buttons.
There's the siren.
Sorry about that. And everybody knows the proper way to cook a cat is spit roasting. That way
I thought they were chopped like that.
That way the other cats know exactly what's in store for them.
No, we're going to get some vegan mad at us, so let's just try not to have too much fun.
Yeah, let's drive away from that one.
She's just in shock. Look at that face. She's gonna
like,
stab.
Oh my God! Somebody would do this to the cat. Oh gosh, with bells on. We lose Joe.
Oh, I've got a
his
sick
ass.
kitty right now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I got my mom's little boy, the one, the space cat, the one that has the space suit that the other cats tore off of him because they were jealous. He has started having seizures.
Oh no!
And I am going to give him. He is probably 7 or 8.
He's young.
Maybe 10.
Nice.
He might be 10.
He's still young.
He started having seizures. Yeah, so I'm going to do all the naturopathy I can for
before you go off
CBD
on that,
for cats.
Before you go off on that, if he's having seizures, it could very well be the wrong kind of cat food.
Yeah.
Right. I have told my mom.
They have the wrong balance on that. If they're eating dog food or too much human food, it can set their whole body out of balance. They can get a UTI.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of stuff that can go wrong. And for the age of the cat, I would say look into a change of feed for him, because that may be what's causing it. Too much
and also
too much ash.
What I'm thinking is we just put together this front cat area with like a fenced in area where they can't get in, and it's complicated. It's just a neat little way to keep them in the yard so they don't get run off eaten by coyotes, right? That's the whole point of this.
Right.
But it didn't start until after that was established and he was able to go outside and walk around. So I have asked her, look at everything in the yard: standing water, bits of rust, exposed soil, different plants, what's growing
What did you paint
there.
it with?
I've got her.
Yeah, what
right,
you paint
that kind
it
of thing
with?
too. We didn't paint the
Lead?
thing.
You know,
We didn't paint it at all.
Silver paint?
There's no paint.
Okay.
It could be
but,
the paint on the house. It could be something
or
in
certain
the dirt.
types
It could
of
be
wood.
anthrax. Right. It could be I told her, I'll have to go out there next weekend.
Certain kinds of
hopefully she does this before then.
pesticide will cause that
Right,
reaction.
all
in
that
a cat.
stuff.
Yeah.
They're very
All that stuff.
delicate creatures.
I'm trying to give her.
Yeah, he could have
Yeah,
picked
they're
up
not as
something from the
robust.
padding on his feet outside.
Right.
They're delicate creatures.
It could be a bug bite.
That too.
Yeah, and
Gabriel
I am
used to have
getting her
seizures, and then
to-
they just stopped for some reason. I don't know what. He had them for about a year and a
You
half.
have
and
ticks
then
in your area, right,
stopped.
Nathan?
Oh, yeah,
Yeah, you do.
Yes.
yeah.
It could have
Yep.
tick disease. It could have a number of them, and just have a low
Yeah.
white count or low red count rather. You know, I mean,
Well, we're
it's
working
gonna
on it,
take
and
a
now
vet-
I'm
It's going to take a vet visit, but I would say start with getting him on some different kind of food that's a little more balanced.
right.
Hell, he could have
Right.
caught himself a
that
mouse
is-
or something that got into poison.
Yeah, that happens a lot here too.
Right. Yeah, it could be strychnine. It could be a whole bunch of a mouse
Strychnine
eating
would
paint
probably
coming
kill
in,
him,
catches
you know?
a mouse.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But a mouse eating something, a critter eating something. Go ahead, Joe.
Well, I just want to inject a little humor in here, see if there's a whole bunch of possibilities, and we have to look at those. But Lynn Ann, do you remember Farito?
Oh my God. Yeah, you should tell that one.
Well, you should tell that one.
No, you tell it. You tell it. Have to you.
She's the one that talked to you. I have no idea. Well, I wasn't there for the conversation.
I had a little Chihuahua. It was sort of she was a mini pin Chihuahua mix. She looked like the fattest little dog that ever lived. She just waddled, and she was a rescue, and the fellas around here look at her and call her a Farito instead of burrito.
Yeah.
Okay, and I just take that stuff in stride because I'm surrounded by it, and it's funny, eh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I go on the air, and he made a comment in the chat room about having my dog for Farito, and my chat monitor was all set to ban him.
I was the co-host.
He was going to talk like that about my dog. He was dangerous, you know. And I said, no, he's the co-host. You can't ban him. That poor little dog got a lot of maligning, but she was one of the best little service dogs you could ever hope for. You know, she just didn't leave your side at all. But I miss her very much. Very, very much. But she was like 15 years old when she went. So, she had a good long life. And she had seizures when I first got her.
Bye, Dorothy.
And changing the feed. Good night, Dorothy. Changing her feed and getting some of the weight off of her helped a great deal.
Somewhat. Some of the weight? Well, it was a miracle what you did with her.
A lot of hers was inflammation. She had the wrong kind of feed. They they had fixed her with the thought that no one would take her and they'd be putting her down anyhow. Because she was the ugliest thing on 4 legs. I swear. I like ugly dogs. But she was a good heart. She really was. Yeah, that it was her feed. I think that's why you brought her up, didn't you?
Well, that, and we were beating the it could be this, it could be that to death. Okay.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that Nathan has got lots of ideas, and when he takes it to the vet, there will be educated ideas there.
Yeah, simple blood test should tell them everything they need to know.
Yeah, where they're too much, too little. It'll cost a little bit, but you'll know.
Yeah, I'm up to it. I'm so glad I'm up to it. I've never been in the spot like I've been now that I'm up to taking care of stuff. And I'm happy about that.
Well, I appreciate that, but I stole 40 some odd cents from you.
Oh, you
don't.
beast.
And it looks like you're gonna get away with it too.
You're not gonna call a lot, am I?
What's the statute of limitations on 47 cents?
About 2 seconds flat.
Send him an old postage stamp.
Or you can send him a forever stamp and tell him to keep the change.
Yeah, really. There you go. Oh my goodness. That was cute.
Actually, I spent it before I knew it. I thought he was teasing me that he had sent me some money, and I've got a GPS module for the dog's collar, and I was short a little bit of change, so I thought we were going to take it from my bank, but PayPal paid for all of it. I'm going, huh? What the heck? So I checked PayPal. Nathan had sent me considerable amount of money. And so
I
didn't know how much. I had shotgun blasted. I had to say, okay, well, this is not going to be enough or whatever it is. So like, oh my God. Okay, well, what do I got? Let's do it.
Hey, we found that she'd run away to a house I lived at when I was in the Army.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Wow.
How about that?
Well, actually, she was across the street when she was caught, but yeah.
Well,
they told me 5724 and the street name, and I went, I lived at 5719.
As big as El Paso
something
is,
quantum there.
Finding her was like finding a needle in a haystack.
She didn't show. There were, a lot of dogs that got lost. You'd see pictures of them here and there until the owner finally caught up with them. There were no pictures. She finally just went up to somebody and said, "Okay, I'm the dog and I need some help."
I'm getting hungry now.
Definitely something quantum.
Oh, but she is rambunctious, but boy, the intelligence in those eyes. I met her the first time today. And she's special. It's very special.
Yeah, it's going to take every bit of my special education background.
I didn't say what kind of special. She's a character, though. Those ears would come up and they're going chick 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 chick, just like the old radar used to do.
And there's a double gate there, Nathan, to my backyard. She unlatched both of them.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
And then jumped the front fence.
No dummy.
Oh well.
She had a good time in my backyard today.
You know,
Led the old man a happy chase.
is that what he was trying to say?
Yeah.
I thought he was trying to was just saying she was having fun, but
Well, she had a ball. He couldn't catch up with her. She couldn't get out of my backyard. So, at least not this time.
Yeah.
mm-mm.
We guys,
And
let
my
me tell
dog
you,
slept
I'm
run.
starting to run out of. Yeah, I'm starting to run out of energy here. I'm still recovering from that big infection, and it was a big one.
You sure you
And
don't
my
have any recipe?
energies. Um,
We'll come to that.
sweet potatoes, cocoa, cinnamon, and
I'll get
graham
the job
cracker
done.
crust, and you will have the best chocolate pie you will have ever had ever.
That is
Oh, good.
sweet potato. That must.
Sweet
What does it
potato,
turn out
the
like?
chocolate overruns it.
Like a cheesecake or what?
Oh, it turns into like a very thick pudding, especially when you have
Oh,
sweet potato with the cocoa and the cinnamon,
Mhm.
and you can tweak it from there. But I had that one time. I saw sweet potato chocolate pie. I was like, huh, this looks good. It was good. The texture is so good, and it's chocolate.
Thank you,
It's
Tim.
more like fudge, and it's so good.
I don't think that sounds very good. Sweet
Thank you,
potato
Tim.
chocolate pie.
You know, it
I've
does.
never had sweet
You
potato
don't
pie,
taste
so
the
I
sweet
don't know.
potato.
You wouldn't.
You don't
know
taste the
that.
sweet potato. It's only
Hmm.
texture. It is literally only texture, and I
This is
really
sort
like
of
that.
like making a mock apple pie.
Kinda. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and wrap it up, y'all. Okay, we went over a whole bunch of stuff today, all regarding quantum healing and focus and sense of self, communicating to yourself, how to use certain tools, how to feel that they're good for you, methods of, again, meditation and manifestation. It's really the cornerstones of all of it.
And self-protection.
And we right, protection and wisdom. That's something we didn't cover, was the wisdom to know when you're being spoken to from wherever, from within, from without, and knowing how to filter. And we did touch on some of that.
Well, maybe we should.
Even Shadow touched on some of that.
Oh yeah, did a great job on it.
Oh yeah.
I get lucky once in a while.
So
Yeah, there's no luck. It's called quantum.
But yep, well, you know what, guys, we are the fringe of the fringe. I spend all week listening to ufology and AI science and this and that and astronomy, and we really are the fringe of the fringe, and it needs more. And I'm going to keep on, and we're going to keep on. And right now, all night long, we have been generating all the good waves going out.
Man.
We don't even realize we're doing it. That is the nature of the quantum link.
Well,
So
that's following your mission.
everybody, everybody, thank you, everyone in the chat. Thank you, Shadow, Lynn, Joe, Raven, and all of Raven's cats, which were lurking. They were lurking.
They're always lurking.
Thanks for
Don't
coming
forget the
and helping
raccoons
us
and
make it.
And the dogs.
Oh yeah.
All the critter friends that we got. So,
and there are many.
If anybody saw anything on screen on my end, leave a link in the comments with a timestamp. But I don't know. No one's mentioned anything, so who knows?
No gremlins this time.
No, he's right there.
He's right there. I can see him.
He's there.
I got a new screen.
Well, it's
Okay.
always a pleasure.
I'm going to go
be
ahead and
with
start pushing buttons, guys.
All right.
Okay.
Yep.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you for
Bye-bye.
coming, Lynn.
Boy.
Bye,
Kiagame.
y'all. Everybody, keep it quantum. Kiagame, keep it quantum. And best show since the last show. Talk to y'all soon.
Best show since the last show.
Out of here. Push
Good night, all.